Acquainted with the night. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the furthest city light. I have looked down the saddest city lane. I have passed by the watchman on his beat, and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. I have stood still and stopped the sound of feet, when far away an interrupted cry came over houses from another street, but not to call me back or say good-bye. And further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have been one acquainted with the night. This solemn poem from the famous Robert Frost is a noble soliloquy detailing his innate inclusion into the world outside from society. I have been one acquainted with the night. Both the first and last line of this poem drive home the idea that Frost views the night as an honorable companion. He knows that on this journey of consciousness, he will be joined by none but the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. He has experienced many hardships, perhaps created by the society he is seeking to escape. Out in rain and back in rain, Frost is looking for a change. He repeatedly enters the rain looking for a difference. He is searching, but continually comes up with nothing. I have outwalked the furthest city light. Frost's journey away from society has led him towards self-awareness. He is delving into the depths of solitude, away from the hustle and bustle of civilization. The light can also be interpreted to mean the direction that the city wants for him. The light reveals what the city wishes him to see. One in the city doesn't always notice that which is in the dark because of the numerous things illuminated by the light. I have looked down the saddest city lane. Frost has studied the structure surrounding him. He has lived in the city, has experienced society. Still, he feels disengaged. He feels the need for a separation. The city does not bring the fulfillment that it promised. I have passed by the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. He wishes not to be stopped on this journey. He sees the watchman as a potential roadblock, a hindrance that will delay him on his path. Frost has moved past the realm of politeness. He will not let any external force dictate his journey, but while he does not stop to acknowledge the watchman, he is also not stopped by the watchman. I have stood still and stopped the sound of feet. When he does decide to stop, Frost's role changes. No longer is he moving away from society. Rather, he is now silently observing it. He is no longer a participant in the world around him. When far away an interrupted cry came over houses from another street. Frost is able to observe the cry because of his external role. Outside from the rhythm and flow of city life, he is able to make out the distinct things that make it unique. Yet, he still wishes to continue his journey away. But not to call me back or say goodbye. It is here that we can finally see Frost's motivation. As he leaves society, he is not missed. There is no one calling him back, no one missing him, no one wishing to say goodbye. Frost is an outcast, seemingly unneeded by society. In his absence, the world moves on as always. Frost is willingly leaving this lonely existence in search of something greater, something more. He seeks a place where he is not only noticed, but is even desired. And further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky. Frost passed outside the realm of city lights at the beginning of the poem. He is now following a singular light. Perhaps this is an expression that he has finally found a way to avoid all of the distractions of the city and has set himself on the path of a singular light. The fact that the clock is at an unearthly height gives the poem a spiritual aspect. Perhaps this journey into himself has led Frost to the knowledge of a God whose path for us is far more peaceful and true than the disorganized jumble of paths promoted by society. Proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. Frost views his role in this tale as ambiguous. Whether he was meant to be here or not is not up to him. This journey of self-awareness has led him to the realization that his path may not have a specific destination or schedule. In keeping with the spiritual aspect, this means that God is not forcing Frost to progress at any pace but his own. The path will always be there. It is up to Frost when he stays and when he goes. I have been one acquainted with the night.